A major development is unfolding quietly in the world of maritime defense, one that could reshape naval power dynamics in Southeast Asia. For years, analysts and defense observers have debated the possibility. Rumors circulated, speculation grew, and now it appears those predictions are becoming reality. Japan is preparing to transfer all 6 of its Abukuma-class destroyer escorts to the Philippine Navy. While this move may not dominate international headlines, its implications are far-reaching. This is not just a routine equipment transfer. It represents Japan's largest naval asset transfer ever made to the Philippines, and one of the most significant steps yet in strengthening bilateral defense ties between the two countries. So how did this deal come together? What exactly are these ships? And why does this matter so much for Philippine maritime security? Let's break it down. The confirmation did not come from an official press conference or a dramatic announcement. Instead, it emerged through Japan's highly respected newspaper, Yomiuri Shimbun, a source known for its close access to defense and government circles in Tokyo. According to the report, officials from the Japanese Ministry of Defense and the Philippine Department of National Defense finalized the agreement during side meetings at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, held in June 2025. The Shangri-La Dialogue, often described as Asia's premier defense and security summit, regularly hosts behind-the-scenes negotiations that shape future military cooperation. This year, one of those quiet discussions appears to have led to a landmark decision. Japan, long constrained by its post-war defense export policies, is now moving decisively to support regional partners, and the Philippines is emerging as a key beneficiary. Japan has transferred defense equipment before. Patrol boats, radar systems, and surveillance aircraft have already found their way into Philippine service. But this deal is on an entirely different scale. 6 destroyer escorts, and not patrol vessels, not Coast Guard cutters, but frontline warships. This signals 3 important realities: Japan's growing confidence in the Philippines as a strategic partner, an increasingly serious view of regional maritime threats, a shift from symbolic assistance to real combat capability support. The timing is not accidental. Tensions in the West Philippine Sea continue to rise, and the broader Indo-Pacific region has become a focal point of global power competition. In this environment, naval presence matters, and ships still count. So what exactly are these vessels that could soon be flying the Philippine flag? The Abukuma-class destroyer escorts were built for the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force during the late Cold War period, entering service between 1989 and 1993. They were designed for anti-submarine warfare, coastal defense, and sea lane protection, missions that remain highly relevant today. Each ship measures approximately 109 meters in length and displaces around 2,000 tons. While not large by modern frigate standards, they are compact, fast, and heavily armed for their size. These ships were never intended to project power across oceans. Instead, they were built to hunt submarines, protect convoys, and maintain maritime control in contested waters. Exactly the kind of missions the Philippine Navy increasingly faces. Despite their age, the Abukuma-class packs a formidable set of weapons and systems. At the bow sits the OTO Malara 76mm naval gun, a weapon already familiar to the Philippine Navy. This gun provides surface engagement capability, limited air defense, and naval gunfire support, all with high reliability and accuracy. For missile armament, the ships were originally equipped with Harpoon anti-ship missiles, giving them the ability to strike enemy surface combatants at long range. For undersea threats, the ships feature ASROC anti-submarine rockets, triple torpedo launchers, and a hull-mounted sonar system. Defensive protection comes from the Phalanx close-in weapons system, the iconic rapid-fire last-ditch defense gun designed to intercept incoming missiles and aircraft. In short, these ships were designed to survive in contested environments, not just to patrol but to fight if necessary. One of the most interesting technical aspects of the Abukuma-class is its propulsion system. The ships use a combined diesel or gas CODOG configuration. For cruising and fuel efficiency, they rely on Mitsubishi diesel engines. When speed is needed, a Rolls-Royce gas turbine kicks in, allowing the ship to sprint at high speeds. This setup provides both endurance and rapid response capability, essential for anti-submarine operations and quick interception missions. However, for the Philippine Navy, this also introduces a new challenge: a third type of gas turbine engine to maintain, train for, and support logistically. That challenge will need to be addressed. but it also comes with long-term benefits in flexibility and operational reach. The Philippine Navy faces a fundamental problem: geography. With one of the world's longest coastlines and a vast exclusive economic zone, the Navy has far fewer major surface combatants than it needs to maintain consistent presence. More ships mean more patrol coverage, more sustained presence in disputed waters, greater deterrence through visibility. The Abukuma-class may not be brand new, but 6 additional hulls dramatically expand the Navy's operational options. Presence matters, and these ships provide presence. One often overlooked advantage of this transfer is system commonality. The OTO Malara 76mm gun used on the Abukuma-class is the same weapon found on Del Pilar-class offshore patrol vessels, former Pohang-class corvettes, including BRP Conrado Yap. This means shared ammunition, familiar maintenance procedures, reduced training burden for gunners and technicians. In naval operations, logistics and familiarity can matter just as much as raw firepower. Japan is not giving away these ships out of generosity alone. The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force is in the process of modernizing its fleet. The Abukuma-class is being gradually phased out in favor of newer, more capable platforms, including modern multi-role frigates with advanced sensors, automation, and network-centric warfare systems. For Japan, transferring these ships strengthens alliances without compromising its own readiness. For the Philippines, it creates a rare opportunity, acquiring capable warships at a fraction of the cost of new construction. This transfer, if completed, could mark a turning point in Philippine naval development. But major questions remain. What systems will be removed or replaced? How much modernization will be required? And how will these ships fit into future Philippine Navy doctrine? Expected modifications and weapons changes, legal and political constraints, upgrade paths, and modernization options. This is where the real transformation begins. The announcement of Japan's plan to hand over 6 Abukuma-class destroyer escorts may sound straightforward on paper. But in reality, transferring warships between nations is never a simple hand-over-the-keys process. Before any of these vessels sail under the Philippine flag, they must go through political review, technical modification, and legal compliance, especially because Japan's defense exports remain governed by strict principles. This is where the story becomes more complex and more interesting. Japan operates under what are known as the 3 principles on transfer of defense equipment and technology. These rules were designed to prevent destabilizing arms exports, while still allowing Japan to support trusted partners. Under these principles, equipment must contribute to peace and security. Transfers must align with Japan's national interest. Certain offensive weapon systems may be restricted or removed. That means the Abukuma-class ships cannot be transferred exactly as they currently exist in Japanese service. Some systems will likely be modified, removed, or downgraded before the ships leave Japan. One of the most closely watched aspects of this transfer involves the ship's anti-ship missiles. The Abukuma-class was originally armed with Harpoon missiles, a proven long-range weapon designed for surface warfare. However, under Japan's export framework, these missiles may be classified as offensive strike weapons. As a result, defense analysts believe the Harpoons will likely be removed prior to transfer. This does not mean the ships will remain permanently unarmed. According to insights from local defense observers such as Max Defense Philippines, the Philippine Navy could later install alternative missile systems sourced from the United States, European manufacturers, South Korean defense firms. This creates flexibility but also raises cost and integration challenges. If the Philippine Navy chooses to rearm the ships, several options could be considered. American systems for interoperability with allied forces, European anti-ship missiles with proven export records, South Korean missiles, increasingly popular due to cost-effectiveness and political compatibility. Each option brings trade-offs in cost integration, complexity, training requirements, export licensing. Missiles may not arrive immediately, but the hulls themselves provide a foundation that can evolve over time. Weapons aren't the only concern. The Abukuma-class ships were built in the late 1980s. While their hulls and propulsion systems remain solid, their sensors are aging by modern standards. Radar, sonar, and electronic warfare systems will likely need replacement to keep these ships effective in today's operational environment. Possible upgrade paths include modern Japanese sensors allied off-the-shelf systems, hybrid solutions combining old and new technologies. Upgrading sensors isn't just about performance, it's about survivability. In modern naval warfare, who sees first often wins. Beyond upgrades, there is a strategic opportunity hidden within this transfer. Japanese and Philippine defense officials have reportedly discussed the possibility of joint development and co-production of ship systems. If realized, this could strengthen the Philippine defense industrial base, reduce dependence on foreign suppliers, create long-term technical partnerships. This would mark a significant evolution from recipient to collaborator. While still speculative, the idea reflects how defense cooperation between Japan and the Philippines is moving beyond donations and toward shared capability building. Warships are not just steel and electronics. They are operated by people, and people require time, training, and experience. Filipino sailors will need to learn new propulsion systems, master Japanese ship layouts, adapt to unfamiliar engineering standards, and operate new combat management systems. Training will likely involve extended periods in Japan, joint sea trials, and Japanese technical advisors embedded during early service. This process is demanding, but it also enhances professionalism and interoperability. The Kodog propulsion system used by the Abukuma-class adds another layer of complexity. The Philippine Navy already operates multiple engine types. Introducing Rolls-Royce gas turbines means new spare parts pipelines, specialized maintenance training, and additional logistical planning. However, this challenge also expands the Navy's technical competence. Over time, managing diverse propulsion systems can increase operational flexibility, if properly funded and supported. Another system drawing attention is the Phalanx close-in weapon system. Although the Phalanx is American-made, it is installed on Japanese ships under license. Transferring it to a third country requires U.S. re-export approval. This adds another diplomatic layer to the process. If approval is granted, the ships retain a valuable last-ditch defense capability. If not, the Philippine Navy may need to remove the system, replace it with an alternative CIWS, or operate temporarily without one. Each option has operational implications. Critics will inevitably point out the ship's age. At over 30 years old, the Abukuma-class is not cutting edge, but age alone does not determine value. Key factors include hull condition, maintenance history, upgrade potential, and mission suitability. Many navies around the world operate ships of similar age with excellent results, especially when they are properly modernized. For the Philippines, the alternative is not brand new destroyers, but fewer ships overall. In that context, 6 additional capable hulls represent a major gain. Even without full missile armament on day 1, these ships bring immediate benefits: increased patrol presence, enhanced anti-submarine capability, stronger alliance signaling, and greater operational experience for crews. They also send a clear message: the Philippines is no longer standing alone at sea. According to available reports, technical inspections are expected to take place during the summer period. If these inspections proceed smoothly, the first ships could be transferred relatively quickly, though exact timelines remain subject to legal approvals, refurbishment schedules, and training readiness. Naval transfers are rarely fast, but momentum appears strong. The Abukuma-class transfer is not without challenges: aging platforms, upgrade costs, training demands, and political coordination. But it is a calculated risk, one taken with eyes wide open. In Part 3, we will examine how these ships fit into Philippine naval doctrine, their impact on regional security, and whether this transfer could reshape future Philippine-Japanese defense cooperation. When the first Abukuma-class destroyer Escort eventually enters Philippine waters, escorted by local naval assets and greeted by officials on the pier, the moment will symbolize far more than the arrival of aging warships. It will represent a strategic shift. This transfer is not just about hardware. It is about trust, alignment, and a shared understanding of the challenges unfolding across the Indo-Pacific. For the Philippine Navy, the Abukuma-class is not a final solution, but it may be the most important bridge the fleet has ever crossed. The Philippine Navy has undergone a quiet but deliberate transformation over the past decade. Once primarily focused on internal security and coastal patrol, it is now increasingly oriented toward external defense and maritime domain awareness. The Abukuma-class fits squarely into this evolving doctrine. These ships are ideally suited for extended patrols in contested waters, anti-submarine operations, escort missions, presence operations short of combat.
They are not power projection platforms.
They are control and denial assets, tools designed to make contested waters harder for adversaries to operate in freely. In the modern West Philippine Sea environment, that role is critical. One of the most underappreciated aspects of this transfer is its impact on anti-submarine warfare, or ASW. Submarines are increasingly central to regional military planning. They operate silently, gather intelligence, and hold surface ships at risk and often without being seen. The Philippine Navy currently has limited dedicated ASW platforms. The Abukuma-class changes that equation. With sonar systems, torpedoes, and ASROC launchers, even if modernized or modified, these ships introduce a credible ASW presence that the Navy has long lacked. This capability does not need to be used to be effective. It simply needs to exist. Naval deterrence is not always about firepower. Sometimes it is about being there. More ships at sea mean more patrol days, more visibility, more documented presence in disputed areas. The Abukuma-class gives the Philippine Navy the ability to maintain sustained operations rather than occasional deployments. This matters deeply in the West Philippine Sea, where daily presence often shapes the narrative of control. This transfer will not go unnoticed. To regional observers, it sends several clear signals. Japan is willing to take concrete steps to support Southeast Asian partners. The Philippines is becoming a frontline maritime state. Security partnerships in the Indo-Pacific are deepening. This does not mean confrontation is inevitable, but it does mean the balance of attention is shifting. For years, regional security discussions focused on major powers. This transfer highlights the growing importance of middle powers and coalition-based deterrence. Historically, Japan's defense role was cautious and restrained. That era is ending. By transferring warships, not just equipment but operational naval platforms, Japan is signaling a new willingness to share responsibility for regional stability. For the Philippines, this partnership offers access to advanced maritime expertise, long-term technical cooperation, strategic backing without loss of sovereignty. This is not dependency, it is alignment. It is important to be clear, the Abukuma-class is not the future end state of the Philippine Navy. These ships are a transitional force. They buy time. Time to train crews, develop doctrine, expand maintenance capacity, plan future acquisitions. In naval modernization, time is often the most valuable resource. Operating these ships will teach the Philippine Navy critical lessons: managing complex propulsion systems, integrating mixed origin combat systems, coordinating multinational logistics, conducting sustained ASW operations. These lessons will shape future decisions, from new frigates to submarines and beyond. No acquisition is without risk. The Abukuma-class faces real challenges: aging hulls, rising maintenance costs, integration hurdles, budget constraints. But rejecting imperfect solutions in pursuit of ideal ones often leads to stagnation. Modernization is not a single leap. It is a series of deliberate steps. Success does not mean these ships winning battles. Success means improved maritime awareness, stronger deterrence, more confident naval operations, a Navy prepared for the next generation of platforms. If 10 years from now, Philippine naval officers look back and say, "That transfer changed how we operate," then this deal will have achieved its purpose. When historians examine the evolution of the Philippine Navy, this transfer may mark a quiet turning point, the moment when capability expansion accelerated and partnerships matured. Not through headlines, not through conflict, but through deliberate cooperation. The transfer of the Abukuma-class destroyer escorts is not perfect. It is not simple, and it is not cheap, but it is strategically sound. In an era where maritime security defines national sovereignty, every capable hull matters, and these 6 ships may matter more than most. What do you think about Japan's decision to transfer these warships to the Philippine Navy? Is this the right move at the right time? Or should the Philippines focus solely on brand new vessels? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this analysis valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into Philippine defense modernization and regional security. Thank you for watching. See you in the next update.